Hey everybody, Hive Doctor here. So today I'm going to be putting some cedar chips in my quilting boxes, and there's a few things I got to consider while doing that, so I figured I'd bring you guys along for the ride. So I've already got a smoker lit, so stick around and we'll get to it. All right, so first off, I get a big old thing of cedar chips. It says it's 141 liters of volume, which is 5 cubic feet. Anyways, this will go a long way. I won't even need this much for all of my colonies in this yard. But I just get the stuff at my local grocery store. It's for pet bedding, like rabbits and things like that. So it's great for bees because cedar resists rot, and it can get wet and dry over and over again without any issue. Unlike, I don't think like just regular pine shavings would do quite as well. So that's why I went with cedar. Plus the smell of cedar, it's kind of an anti-moth thing anyways. I don't know if it works on wax moth, but you know, they make those little cedar blocks to put in your closets and your chest of drawers to keep moths out from destroying your clothing. So maybe it works in a beehive too. So today's warm-ish, it's cool. It's like not too cold to be doing what I'm doing, but I probably wouldn't pull out a frame of brood. So I wanted to show you a method to minimize exposing my colonies to the cold and letting just the heat come right out of the top. So instead of, you know, taking my hive cover off and then getting the quilt box ready because it's upside down right now, I've got to flip it over because I've got Varroa treatment pouches in there right now. I'm just going ahead, I went and got an extra quilting box. I'm just going to go ahead and fill this one, pop that one off, pull my pouch, put this one on, hive cover on, and go to the next. So it's going to be pretty simple. So let's go ahead and get started. Sometimes when you put these in a box, since they've been so tightly packed in the bag, they want to stay in clumps. I just like to make sure that I loosen those clumps because you want something, a mass that the air can pass through. And so I'll just push this in here into all of the corners and make sure I get a good inch and a half of shavings into this box. And let me show you the bottom of this. Should have showed you that first, but there's a screen on the bottom where the bees can't like get through, but their moisture can rise up through that. And then I've got holes drilled on all sides, and those are screened off as well. That's where the air comes in and wicks away the moisture that collects in this. So the idea is that it keeps the heat of the colony in, but wicks away the moisture. I know some beekeepers, they don't worry about the moisture. They say the bees use it to dilute the honey and eat it, and that may very well be the case. But I've also noticed that my hives come through winter better with quilting boxes than the ones that don't. So I'm not going to pretend I know everything that's going on inside of the beehive. I'm just going to do what I know works. One thing I don't want to do is fill this so full that the level of the wood chips goes above these holes. I need air to come in through the holes and not be blocked. So it's got to have that wicking ability. So in that regard, my quilting boxes, they might be a little bit shallow. They could have been deeper, but I was just trying to see how much material I could get. You know, I was trying to save on material. So that's about it. So now I've got a quilting box ready, and I'm gonna go ahead and pop this one off. All right, the bees know I'm coming. There's our Varroa pouch. And there aren't even any bees up here. I've got several frames of honey. That's empty, so that's nice. This worked out really well. If you don't know what Varroa is, or you haven't seen my videos already, I'll link them up one right after the other because I've got two that explain what this is and how it works, but it's something against Varroa mite, so that's definitely an interest to beekeepers these days. Okay, so now this one on. Come on, girl, get in there. Oops. And the hive cover. That one's done. And now I've got the box I pulled off this one to go ahead and fill and go on to the next one, the same method. So I've already got a box ready to go. So one thing I thought of right when I was ending this video that I meant to say was that there's two ways to do this. One is the less smart way and one is the smarter way. I'm doing it the less smart way by putting these chips in here loosely, because then next spring I've got to deal with loose chips when it gets warm enough for me to need to empty these. I'll probably just empty these into a dry bin and keep them dry until I need to use them again next year in the winter. But the smarter way to do this would be to put these wood chips into a burlap sack. Probably fill the thing about 1/3 of the way full and then fold the excess burlap over, kind of creating a pillow, and then nesting that down into the box. Then you don't have any mess. It's easier to put in and it's easier to store and take out when you're done next year. So that's my pro tip for you guys today. And so I'm not going to make you guys watch me do that to every hive. It's the same process I just showed you. I'm going to go ahead and finish up here, but the idea is simple, something that keeps the warmth in and moisture out. And like I said, my bees have always come through winter with more food and higher populations than not having it. And since I've got my mite count way down this year, probably more than I've ever had it, due to my oxalic acid vaporization in conjunction with Varroa here, I feel really confident about my colonies getting through winter time. They got plenty of food. In fact, all of them are going in with at least one honey super, but the majority of them have a deep and 2 honey supers. This is the only exception here. It's only got 2 medium honey supers. So in the spring, they'll get a deep to work into so that everything's consistent and they can make that their brood nest. So that's one of my final preparations for winter. They've already had enough feed. That's about it for tucking them in. Let me know if you guys have any questions about quilting boxes. It's not a common piece of equipment to be able to find. I built all of mine. You might know a beekeeper in your area that could build them as well. Comment below, questions, stuff, things. Let me know what you're doing to get ready for winter time. See you guys in the next video. Hive Doctor out.